The 2022 Fek projections are out. Has the Fekless Wonder lost his mind? JFtC.com gives you free admission to enjoy the views from the On Fek Circle, streaming at you live every Tuesday evening, 6 p.m. Eastern Time on the Jays from the Couch YouTube channel, our Facebook page, and even tweets. The On Fek Circle tries to make you laugh while it encourages you all to think about what's on my mind. We aren't just talking at you. This is a Blue Jays baseball conversation, so share your questions and comments during the live show and throughout the week. My program is joined by another fantabulous YouTube channel exclusive, Sunny Side of the Dome, hosted by Blue Jays diehard and Toronto baseball analyst Karen Suter, live Thursdays, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. No one talks Blue Jays baseball with the knowledge and heart that Karen does. And our flagship program, the Jays from the Couch radio podcast, records live Mondays at 6 p.m. Eastern Time via the YouTube channel, the Facebook page, and on the Twitter handle at Jays from Couch. Our senior editor and Jays from the Couch founder, Shaun Doyle, creates and moderates Blue Jays Talk for All with Blue Jays players, beat writers, and out-of-town experts. Never miss our fake Blue Jays news segments. You can download all 293 episodes anywhere you find your podcasts. And Blue Jay fans should also make a daily pilgrimage to JaysFromTheCouch.com for quality Blue Jays coverage and informative, unique articles no other site can provide. I am the madman across the border, the Fekless Wonder, Steve Fek. Welcome. You can tell by the tie and the old vintage sports writer's hat. It's a special edition of the On Fek Circle. The Fek projections are back for a second year. Now, last year, I was kind of doing a parody. Hi, Rocket, how you doing? Hope you chime in during the predictions. I'm sure you should be sitting down, I think, Rocket, for some of the things I'm going to say, but I'm really glad you joined in. Rocket's part of our Jays from the Couch Fantasy Baseball League, our inaugural season. But last year was kind of a parody, because who cares what a dope like I would be saying about where the Blue Jays are going to rank in the AL East or whatever. And I even goofed on how they always have these big fancy, graphics and everything on Sportsnet or MLB Network or ESPN. So I was just holding up pieces of paper I printed out, showing you how I was rating the various teams. Now this year, I'm taking it and trying to form a bigger picture, I guess, taking it to another level. We're looking at the entire AL playoff field. We're going to rank all of the teams based on their players and also intangibles like front office, bullpen, rotation, and field manager. And we're going to rank these teams to come up with a Fek rating, which of course is part of the think tank at Fekless University. All these great brains and baseball minds get together, crunch their numbers. Very, very professional. Then I totally disregard them and just pick whatever's up in my head. And that's how I'm going to do the rankings. But I hope you really enjoy it. It's going to be a fun exercise. There is one big, giant surprise actually two really, but they're tied to the major surprise. We do not do drug testing here at Jays from the Couch or on the On Fek Circle, but Shaun Doyle may force me after the show to actually do that. I did want to have you go back to JaysFromTheCouch.com idea first. We do encourage you, obviously, to visit and read all the great articles, but we also encourage you to visit our Redbubble merchandise shop and our JFtC versus ALS campaign sections at the bottom of the website. We're not trying to hawk merchandise, but 100% of the profits from anything you buy at our Redbubble shop goes directly to our ALS campaign. Its opening day is just on Thursday. Now, it might not arrive in time, but you need to get into the spirit of a new season. You need to order your JFtC merchandise. and you're helping a great cause with all profits going to ALS. Or you can just say, if I buy something else, my wife or husband are going to kill me. If I buy something else sports related, you can go and make a tax deductible donation directly to ALS Canada. And we really appreciate you supporting our efforts to do so. Now, I analyzed 8 teams. I really wanted to do it 9 because I wanted to do a ranking of 9 through 1, as far as 9 being the top player in each category, blah, 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 blah. But well, report. I need a degree from Fek you. It's not hard. Just write your check out to Fek you, care of the Fekless Wonder, somewhere in Pittsburgh, PA. I'm infamous in my adopted hometown, so it'll probably get right to me, Christian Rao, the Rao Report. Please do check out his podcast. He does a terrific job with that. And then he needs our support because he kind of roots for the Orioles. So it's really a tough season every year for him. We need to make sure that, the thing that is going so well for him, the Rao Report, gets as much support as possible. So I looked first at trying to make it 9 teams. Really, it was even hard to maybe even make it 8, but I looked at where the lines were being set by MGM Grand Casino, DraftKings, and Bally Sports to see what projected win totals were going to be. So I came down to the 8 best or highest win totals, and then we had to go through there, analyze those 8 teams to come down and predict what our 6 playoff teams are going to be. Once I knew what teams I was looking at, I then went to Yahoo Sports, Fantasy Sports, and using depth charts, I figured out who the most likely starters. Now, in most cases, it's pretty obvious. We know Vladdy's at first, or Rafael Devers is at third for the Red Sox, whatever it would be. See where they rank the players. And then my think tank at Fekless University looked at it and said, okay, that's great that the fantasy sports projections look good, but we want to put our own angle on it. What would Fek think? Which is a dangerous territory to enter, but thinking, what would Fek think? When the results came out, even though obviously they're obviously slanted from my point of view, I still didn't believe what the results were. So I actually resorted, I just put some soap in my mouth just for the sin that I was going to commit, and actually went to an analytics site, Fangraphs, and took a look at some of their projections to make sure that I wasn't totally out of line. I'm not a big analytics guy, so I was looking just at the basic numbers. And my numbers still came out the way they were. So let's start with the number 1 seed in the FECU playoff rankings, and that would be our Toronto Blue Jays. They would earn a first round bye in the playoffs, and they would have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. They established a FECU rating of 78. A perfect score would be 108. We had 12 categories, 9 points being the maximum. But the Toronto Blue Jays were the clear-cut favorite. And it's not a homer viewpoint. I mean, last year, I think I had the Blue Jays finishing third, a pretty distant third when I was doing the FECU projections, which just endeared me even more to the Blue Jays fan base. But the Blue Jays should be the best, have the best record at the end of the regular season. The number 2 seed with the second bye is the Chicago White Sox. White Sox came up with a FECU rating of 63. My first pass through, it was a little bit higher number than that. But, the injury to Lance Lynn and the loss of a couple key bullpen arms kind of gave me pause to think about that. So I made some adjustments before coming up with the final FECU rating. But so Blue Jays and White Sox, first round buys. Here's the big surprise. So the number 3 seed, which would be the AL West champ, would be the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, Compton, Long Beach, San Pedro, whatever attachment they have now, they had a they're going to win the AL West. In fact, they're the only team I have coming out of the AL West, and we'll get to that later. So they had a FECU rating, obviously much lower of a 49. In fact, the other three playoff teams all had a higher FECU rating than the Los Angeles Angels. I really think their pitching is underrated. Mike Trout has something to prove. They have Shohei Ohtani. Anthony Rendon is healthy. The Angels are going to win the AL West. Now let's talk about our wild cards. The first wild card, and this is another team I wanted to look at. Obviously, when the Angels came up, I'm like, this can't be right. I mean, I actually doubted myself, so I wanted to go look at it again, and the Angels are my AL West division winner. But the top wild card, the number 4 seed, are the New York Yankees. There's something about the Yankees that I'm just not buying into this season. But when you look at it on paper, the Yankees are the second best team in the American League according to the FECU ratings. They would be the number 1 wild card seed, but number 4 seed overall. The number 5 seed is also from the American League East, and that's the Boston Red Sox. Boston Red Sox, a lot of teams selling them short. But I do believe, as I said last year, I kind of predicted. I didn't predict them to win a division or anything last year, but I had said all along, and everybody was writing them off. The Red Sox are going to be there all season, and they're going to make the playoffs, and indeed they did. The final wild card, number 6 seed in the playoffs, is the Tampa Bay Rays, with a FECU rating of just 1 point behind the Red Sox at 53. The Rays find a way. Again, they traded Austin Meadows for Isaac Paredes and a competition or a competitive balance pick in between the second and third round. They're going to turn that into somebody that's going to win a Cy Young someday or win a batting title. The Rays just have a knack of making it work. I don't think they're going to go far in the playoffs this year, but they are the final wild card team. So what were the 2 teams that I felt should be considered but are not going to make the playoffs? One kind of hurt me because I really like the Seattle Mariners. I think what they did last year was not smoke and mirrors. I think they did a great job. But I have the Houston Astros far outside the playoffs as well. And most analysts when you're watching, the big media outlets are saying, oh, Houston, they're going to win the West, and they could go to the World Series. I'm not buying it. I'm going to break it down here a little bit for you here. So what do you think? By all means, on any live show, whether it be the On Fek Circle, Karen's Sunny Side of the Dome on Thursday, when we do our podcast, we want the questions. We've already had Rocket and the Rao Report all report in, during this show. Don't be shy. If you have a question and I don't care if you put up a thing and call me an idiot, just please explain to me why I'm an idiot. Don't just say you're an idiot and go away. Okay. Rocket said, I was honestly think you were going to go crazy and say something like the Royals making the playoffs. This doesn't sound too surprising. Well, good. That's good. I'm sure that, my therapist will appreciate that I'm not totally going crazy. The team that I found was hard not to put in the playoff consideration was the Twins. I love the Tigers and what the Tigers have done. I just think it's sort of like where the Jays were in 2020. The Jays made the playoff, but there was a way expanded playoffs. They just weren't quite there, and I think some of the blemishes showed last year for the Jays. I think the Tigers need this year to kind of gel, but they're going to be really good, in 2 or 3 years. But the Twins, last year was an aberration, I would say. They have to hit. I mean, adding Correa is going to help. Max Kepler hasn't been healthy. Byron Buxton hasn't been healthy, so they're back. Yeah, I know they got Gary Sanchez, but he's Gary Sanchez. I'm not expecting huge things out of him. He'll have like one or two hot streaks that'll last 7 to 10 days each, and the rest of the year he's going to hit 150. So that's not much. They have good pitching. They have a lot of young pitchers, major league ready pitchers at AAA if things falter, if there's injuries that could step in. But they just didn't match up in the Fek U ratings when I was looking at it. So how do we cope with the Fek U ratings? Looked at each position. I ranked the best player at each position on a scale of 9 and then 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Because I didn't have 8 teams, I couldn't go, 9 through 1. But you have that little 1-point buffer between the first best things. Love the Angels pick. Thank you, Row Report. Also not buying the Yanks. I got them 4th in the East. I tried to put them 4th in the East. I did. I really did. I was even trying to find ways to have the Orioles finish ahead of the Yankees. I couldn't do it, Christian. Sorry. But sometimes numbers don't lie as much as you want them to. And if you're looking just at basic talent, the idea behind the Fek U ratings is that by ranking the starting players, unless it's the starting lineup as a whole, from top to bottom, you have a good idea of what this team could produce. Is it scientifically proven? No. Is it Brian Kenny's The Shredder? Is it advanced analytics? No. I mean, would Bill James snicker? Kind of. But all the other, hipster crowd that try to advance all these advanced analytics, I mean, they're going to snicker. They're going to laugh. I'm sure there are at least a handful of couchers right now that when they watch this, they're going to just shake their head and say, oh man, Fek, I don't understand you. But I really think it gives you a good idea. So I'm going to start at first base. Again, I'm not going to give you every point total and give you a running total to give you an idea. Obviously, the best first baseman in the American League is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. You can argue he's the best first baseman in Major League Baseball. I think Freddie Freeman has something to say about that because of his defensive prowess, as great as Vladdy has developed at first base. Then Bobby Abreu. Oh, my God. Jose Abreu of the White Sox was second. Then it was Rizzo of the Yankees, Walsh of the Angels, Yuli Gurriel of the Astros, Ty France of the Mariners, the Dalbec, Travis Shaw combo in the Red Sox, and the Rays, Heesip Choi, and whoever. I guess Yandy Diaz will back up there. The Rays will find somebody and make this list obsolete probably by the beginning of May, because they always have. They just have an endless stream of players coming up. But Vladdy, best first baseman in baseball. Best second baseman in baseball? Or not baseball, the American League, Jose Altuve of the Astros. So you would say, well, wow, Altuve's great. They have all these guys coming back. Why aren't you picking them higher? We'll get to some of that a little bit later. But I went Altuve, the new second baseman, Trevor Story on the Red Sox, and then Brandon Lau, Josh Harrison of the White Sox. If you're a fantasy player, you need to get him on your team right now. I was blessed to be able to watch him play here in Pittsburgh. He's just a great role player, and you don't realize how good he is until the end of the year and you look at the numbers. Gleyber Torres. Okay. I think Dalbec is underrated. I have the Sox finishing second. I mean, it's entirely possible. And again, I really tried to slant this to have the Yankees fall out of where I have them. And I eventually I had to be honest with myself and say, look, this is where you're at. Go from there. Dalbec's not going to play every day, at least not to start. The Red Sox have a good lineup, so it's not beyond the realm of possibilities whatsoever. So, but great point again, Rocket. I appreciate you contributing there. Mariners, Jays, and Angels second basemen were all the bottom things. Third base, I had Rafael Devers. And I already, Shaun Doyle is probably throwing things, behind the scenes saying, "Oh, Matt Chapman, he's the best. Matt Chapman is the best defensive third baseman in the American League by far." And I'll put him up against Nolan Arenado. There's no better defensive third baseman than Brian Hayes. There just is not. And hopefully, if you get to watch some Pirate games this year, he's just a magician over there. But at Rafael Devers as a top third baseman, I put Josh Donaldson as second. I know he's an injury risk, but there's just something about Josh Donaldson that just he continues to excel. If he can stay on the field, he's going to be he's one of the reasons why I have the Yankees ranked as high as I do. I have Chapman third, Anthony Rendon of the Angels. He has something to prove. He has the big contract. He missed basically all of last year. He's a great third baseman. Then it was, Bregman of the Astros, Suarez of the Mariners, Yohan Moncada, who I think is unbelievably overrated for the White Sox, and Yandy Diaz of the Rays. Isaac Paredes is not ready to play third base yet. The guy they got for Austin Meadows this year. He'll be there next year. He's going to be good. Shortstops, I don't think it's a no-brainer again. It's the most exciting player in Major League Baseball. And that includes Fernando Tatis and Vladdy and everybody else, Lindor. It's Bo Bichette. On his heels, real close, though, Tim Anderson of the White Sox. Abrasive personality, great ball player. He and Harrison are going to be just a fun double play combination. Then I have Bogarts, Wander Franco. I have Kiner Falefa ranked pretty high. He's a great defensive player, and I think he's going to hit in that ballpark. I really do. I wanted to put Jeremy Pena of the Astros much higher. Another kid that's going to be great. I don't know that he's going to be great in 2022. And then Fletcher and Crawford round out that. Behind the plate, and I wavered on this, and I probably tried not to be a homer when I picked Grandal to be the top producing catcher in the American League. A great hitter. He's underrated defensively. He calls a pretty decent game. But I have the Jansen-Kirk combo as the Jays as the second best catching tandem in the American League. Danny Jansen's going to be an all-star. Mark my words, he's going to be an all-star. I said it last night on the podcast. He's going to be an all-star. This is the year that everybody in the American League and in baseball realizes how valuable Danny Jansen really is. Then it was Mike Zunino, Christian Vasquez, and then a bunch of other players. I had the Angels, Yankees, Mariners, and Astros. You could throw all those guys together in a mix, wouldn't matter. Now, DH is dicey because some teams are going to use a rotation. So I tried to, keep it as simple as possible. Ohtani, he's the best DH in the American League. Alvarez of the Astros, great player. He's going to probably play more outfield than he has in the past. And then you have JD Martinez. You have the Jays cast of characters. They're going to rotate people through there. I have Stanton at the DH for the Yankees. The Yankees seem to believe that Aaron Hicks is going to be their everyday center fielder. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. I don't think it's going to happen. So Stanton's going to have to play more outfield. And then you had Mitch Haniger. Originally had the Rays with Austin Meadows as the DH to keep him on the field from injuries. And then the White Sox, Gavin Sheets, prodigious power. He's a rookie. He's going to struggle some. Over in left field, Joey Gallo. And I can hear the howls of derision right now. You don't need to even put anything up on the screen. I can hear it now. Defensively, offensively, even with the streakiness and the strikeouts, he's the best left fielder in the American League. Eloy Jimenez is second. Our guy, Lourdes Gurriel, third. Then Rosarina, Winker, Brantley, Verdugo, Adele. It'd be interesting to see how Adele does for the Angels, but I don't think he doesn't match up with that group. Center fielders, it's Mike Trout. And okay, yes, he misses so much time, blah, blah, blah. He's the best baseball player on the planet. At this point, he's going to have a monster year. That is why I have the Angels winning the AL West. Mike Trout's the top. Louis Robert and the White Sox is only going to get better. He edged out Springer just barely when I was doing the FECU projections. Watch Julio Rodriguez in Seattle. You like Juan Soto. You like Vladdy Guerrero. You like Ronald Acuna. Julio Rodriguez may be better than all of them. He is just special. Then, Red Sox, Rays, Astros, Yankees. Over in right field, and this one really hurt, was Aaron Judge. I was going to put Kyle Tucker there because Tucker's going to play all year and Judge may not because of injury, but I think Judge has something to prove. So I have Teoscar third. I'm not as high on Teoscar as most Blue Jay fans, and then Kelenic, Marsh, Bradley Jr., AJ Pollock, and Margot. Then I looked at, rather than picking best starter or best reliever, I looked at rotation and bullpen. The Toronto Blue Jays have the best rotation in the American League. All the analytics people will say, well, no, they're good, but no, they don't. They're the best rotation 1 through 5 in the American League. I kind of worry with injury issues, but 1 through 5, everything goes well. Blue Jays are the top rotation in baseball. I had the Rays second because, again, they find guys and they trade for guys and they juggle things around and openers and all kind of weird concepts. Julio is going to be the next coming of Griffey for the M's. Absolutely, Rocket. And I didn't think it was possible to say this, and it's borders on blasphemy, but Rodriguez could be better than Griffey. And Griffey's the best baseball player I have ever seen. And I have been alive to see Willie Mays and Hank Aaron in their prime. Mickey Mantle at the end. I'm that old. I've seen some major talent. He's the best baseball player I've ever seen. He was just amazing. Thank you again for the comment there, Rocket. I dropped the White Sox down because of the injury to Lance Lynn. That's going to put a stress on what the original plans were. Mariners are there. I have the Yankees. Everybody has the Yankees and Astros rotations high up. I don't see it. That's both teams' Achilles heel. It's Garrett Cole and a lot of prayers. I love Jameson Taillon. I don't know that he can stay healthy long enough. I really don't. Bullpen, and I think this is what makes the Yankees the top wild card team and a second place finisher in the AL East. It's their bullpen. And it's not just Aroldis Chapman. It's Chad Green and a lot of other really good young arms. The Yankees have the best bullpen. Again, the Rays mix and match. They don't have one big closer, but they have 6 guys that could pitch the 9th inning for you or pitch leverage innings. So the Rays are right there. The Angels bullpen is underrated. Raisel Iglesias, terrific closer. They picked up a lot of guys, Aaron Loop, as free agents. The bullpen is going to help carry the Angels and make up for their inconsistent starting pitching. Then the White Sox, the Jays bullpen still worries me. I know we've made additions. It's better than last year. Well, after my heart surgery, I felt better and my heart works better. I still have a defective heart. So, the Jays bullpen is going to be problematic. Now, this is one where people are going to maybe get upset. And I'm running a little tight on time, but I might go over just a little bit because I want to cover a couple quick things. I combined the front office and the manager into one category. I think there is no doubt, no one can argue that the Rays with Eric Neander and Kevin Cash are the best combination. Their intangibles, their ability to work with whatever they have, maximize talent, go out and get players that nobody else seems to want. Randy Arozarena, for example, and turn them into superstars. Nobody does it better than the Rays. I have the Mariners second, Jerry Dipoto, he should be executive of the decade. He came into a mess in Seattle. And yes, Trader Jerry, he trades everybody, blah, blah, blah. He calmed down once he got pieces in place that he felt, and once he fleeced the Mets in the Robinson Cano deal. And Scott Service should have been the American League Manager of the Year last year. As great a story as they were, and winning so many close games, Scott Service played a huge part in the Mariners winning 90 games last year. I have the Red Sox front office third. Heimblum knows how to get it done. Alex Cora is the best manager in Major League Baseball. It's not even close. Oh, he's a cheater. It's done. He's the best in-game manager in Major League Baseball. The White Sox are right there. Rick Hahn finds ways to plug holes, and we're really watching the fossil remains of Tony La Russa as a manager at this point. He's still a brilliant baseball strategist in game, even as at his advanced age. I would bet on a Tony La Russa team. I put the Yankees ahead of the Jays. And yes, I know I have a bias against, I don't like Ross Atkins. I don't think Charlie Montoyo is the guy that brings the Jays to the promised land. But that's not why. Brian Cashman always has the unlimited funds, if they're truly in a pennant race and really close, to make big deals. They got Gallo and Rizzo last year. They picked up Donaldson. I mean, yes, the Jays have money. I think the Jays are going to go about it a little bit smarter. The Jays are going to try to protect their top prospects and not move them unless they really have to, like they did in the Barrios deal. I wanted to put the Angels higher, but Manassian, this would be his first go-around in a pennant race. He'd learned under the tutelage of Alex Anthopoulos, so right there earned some big bonus points. And Joe Maddon's a great manager. Everybody loves the Astros front office. James Click did nothing to improve his team this year. And they'll spend money if they're in a race. I don't think they're going to be in a race. And Dusty Baker, another overrated guy. So I'm going to wrap up here real quick. Tell you about the FECU ratings. If you have comments, even after the live stream, please post them up on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. I do check on a daily basis. I get back to you as soon as I can. I want to talk about the playoffs. So we know that the Jays and White Sox have a bye. So the number 4 seed Yankees would play the number 5 seed Red Sox. Number 3 seed Angels would play number 6 seed Rays. I have the Angels going around. This is Trout's opportunity to shine. Ohtani, all that team. I have the Angels going to the second round of the playoffs. And I have the Yankees vanquishing the Red Sox. Then it gets interesting. Yankees, Blue Jays. Because again, it's seeding. So that would be technically the 4th seed, even though the Yankees would have a better record, according to FECU rankings, than the White Sox and the Angels. They're the 4 seed. They would play the number 1 seed Blue Jays. I don't think it's even going to be a series. We're going to be able to, I think, celebrate and bask in some severe blowouts. And I have the White Sox vanquishing the Angels finally. In the ALCS, Blue Jays over the White Sox. And in the World Series, the Blue Jays over the Philadelphia Phillies. I don't know that the Phillies are going to win the NL East, but Dave Dombrowski, as far as riverboat gambler, do what needs to get done to advance and make a deep run and win a world championship, Dombrowski has an impeccable track record. It might cost them their farm system. They don't really have a great farm system at this point. The previous regime didn't draft well, so Dombrowski is going to make a point there. He's going to make the moves that needs to get made to get them through the National League quagmire, but they're going to lose to the Blue Jays. Well, I am way over what I like to do. And in theory, I'm supposed to have everything done in 30 minutes. But if you've watched me on the podcast or watched these shows, I get off on tangents or whatever it would be. It was great with all the interaction. Thank you, Raw Report and Rocket and all of those that are out there listening. I'd love to hear what you think about my picks. Tune back. It's okay, Shaun. You can flash back to the logo. People are done seeing my face. I'm the Fekless Wonder, Steve Fek. Tune in next Tuesday. The first On Fek Circle of the regular season. Also, make sure you check in the podcast on Monday nights. And also Sunny Side of the Dome with Karen Suter on Thursday night, 6 p.m. Eastern time for both those shows. Talk to you next week.